Class we understood the construction of Ramdan's eyepiece. We learned the equivalent focal length and the position of the equivalent lens. Now let us learn the position of cross wires. So before that we got F is equals to how much? 3 by 4 F here denotes the equivalent focal length. Now later we got the position alpha as 1 by 2 F. So for the position of cross wires, what we'll do? 3 by 4 F minus 1 by 2 F. So that gives 1 by 4 F. So the image that will be formed before the eyepiece will act as an object for the eyepiece, and the image from the eyepiece will be formed at infinity. So this is the position of cross wire. Now next let us understand the merits and demerits. Merits and demerits of Ramdan's eyepiece. So now you saw the construction of the eye lens. So in eye lens we have field lens and eye lens. So in eyepiece we have field lens and eye lens. So in eye lens we don't have field lens and eye lens. So in eyepiece we have field lens and eye lens. So field lens is used for what? So field lens will increase the field of view. So the first is, in this arrangement the field lens is not very efficient, but the field of view is fairly wide. So what he is telling is, field of view is wide, but field of lens is not the efficient thing. So field lens is not efficient. So next is, the arrangement is not entirely achromatic. The chromatic effects are minimized by using a chromatic combination of both the field and the eye lenses. So what is telling? The arrangement is not entirely achromatic. So there will be aberration due to chromatism also. So the arrangement has not entirely eliminated the aberration. Now next is, the spherical aberration is minimized as the image is seen through two lenses, hence the deviation is small. So spherical So the spherical aberration is minimized because we are watching the image from the two lenses, so from field lens and the eye lens. So this will decrease the overall deviation that occurs after the refraction of light. So this is minimization of spherical aberration. And further aberration can also be minimized by using the plano-convex lens, and you have to keep the curved surface of the two lenses facing each other, so then you can eliminate the aberration. Next, fourth is, this eyepiece is commonly used in all the optical instruments. So where the measurements are to be made, it is a positive eyepiece. So I have explained what is positive eyepiece in our last class. So he is telling that Ramdan's eyepiece is a positive eyepiece, and you can use this Ramdan's eyepiece in all optical instruments. Next, it can be used as a simple microscope because the first focal plane lies to the left of the field lens and it is real. So, the Ramdan's eyepiece can also be used as simple microscope. So these are the few merits and demerits of the Ramdan's eyepiece. So now let us learn the cardinal points of Ramdan's eyepiece. So cardinal points of Ramdan's eyepiece. So here also we are learning what are the cardinal points. So to learn the cardinal points, let us draw the diagram first. So you have the field lens, which is a plano-convex lens, and at finite distance you have the eye lens. And this is again a plano-convex lens. Now there is a principal axis which is passing through the center of both the lenses. So we know that distance between the two lenses 2/3 f. So for Ramdan's eyepiece, D is 2/3 f. So now for this arrangement we have to find what is the first principal plane or the position of first principal plane and the position of focal points. So this separation is what? It is D. So D is equals to 2/3 f. Now, so the first principal plane, the first principal plane of the equivalent lens is, so why it is equivalent lens? Because we have two lenses which are separated by distance. D is equals to 2/3 f. So we have to take the equivalent lens lies at P1. So what he is telling, the first principal plane of the equivalent lens lies at P1. So for that we have to write alpha is equals to df by f2. So alpha gives the first principal point. Now D we know. So what is D? D is 2/3 f. So equivalent focal point we have calculated in our last derivation. So f came around 3/4 f, and this overall is divided by f. So 1f will get cancelled, 1 3 and 2 1s 2 2s. What remained is 1/2 f. So that means alpha is equals to 1/2 f. So this alpha or the first principal plane is placed at 1/2 f. So that means, so here you have positive 1/2 f. So 2/3 is somewhere around 0.66. So if you take 1/2 f, it is 0.5. So then you can, so let this point be the H1. So this is first principal plane P1. This is at a distance 1/2 f from the field lens. So 1/2 f. So from here to here it is 1/2 f. So this is the first principal plane this H1 is the principal point. So this point is lying between the field length and the eye length at a distance f by 2 from the field length. Now this H1, as I said, H1 plane cuts the principal axis and there forms the principal point. Next, for second principal plane P2, so we have to find second principal plane. So we can write formula as beta is equals to minus d multiplied by f divided by f1. And the same thing is here. So minus d is 2 by 3f multiplied by 3 by 4f divided by f. So f will get cancelled, 3 will get cancelled. What remains is minus f by 2. So that means beta is equals to minus f by 2. Alpha, what you got? Plus f by 2. Beta is minus f by 2. So you can take a distance from the eye length. So from here you have to go minus f by 2. So again 0.5f. So that might come somewhere here. So this is H2. Second principal plane P2. So we saw where is the first and second principal points and first and second principal planes. And this H2 is lying in front of the field length. So H2 is at a distance minus f by 2. So from here to here, it is again f by 2. Yes. Next. So we found the first and the second principal plane. Next is nodal point. So for this nodal point, the object system and the image system both are lying in the same medium. So that is, they are lying in the air medium. So nodal points will coincide with the principal points. So as the system lies in air, the two nodal points coincide with principal points. So this is the nodal point. So what is happening in the nodal point? So the whole system, the image system and the object system, both are lying in the same medium. So nodal points will coincide with the principal points. So now let us make this as alpha 2, because we also have to find the focal points. So alpha 1 and alpha 2 are the principal points. Next is the focal points. So next is position of focal points. So we have to find beta 1 and beta 2. So we know that beta 1 is equals to minus f 1 minus d by f2. Substitute the values. So f we know it is 3 by 4 f. 1 minus d we know it is 2 by 3 f, and this is multiplied by 1 by f. So f will get cancelled. What remains is minus 3 by 4 f. 1 minus 2 by 3 is 1 by 3. So 3 will get cancelled. What remains is 4 by not 4 by f, it is f by 4 minus f by 4. Beta 1 is at a position minus f by 4. Now let us find beta 2. Beta 2 is equals to f1 minus d divided by f1. F we know it is 3 by 4 f, and 1 minus d is 2 by 3 f, which is multiplied by 1 by f. So f will get cancelled. What remains is 3 by 4 f. 1 minus 2 by 3 is 1 by 3. 3 gets cancelled. F by 4. Beta 2 is positive f by 4 and beta 1 is negative f by 4. So let us mark these points in a diagram. So we have the beta 1 as minus f by 4. So this comes somewhere here. So this point from here to here is the beta 1. This is the focal plane. So this is f1. This is at a distance f by 4. And the second was plus f by 4. So that we should take from the island. So from here to here, if it is f by 4, then this is the second focal point. So that is f by 4. So we found the principal points and the focal points for the Ramdan's eyepiece. So these are also known as the cardinal points of Ramdan's eyepiece. So next we have the Huygens eyepiece. So let us learn what is Huygens eyepiece in the next section. So hope this section is clear to you all, what we have understood in this section. So first we started with the position of cross wires for Ramdan's eyepiece. Then we learned merits and demerits. Then we came for the cardinal points of the Ramdan's eyepiece. So this diagram is important and we should mention clearly the distances. So as I mentioned here, so the distance between two lenses is 2 by 3f. And these two are the plano-convex lenses which are facing each other. Then we found the principal plane and the principal points and focal planes and the focal points. So these are the cardinal points of the Ramdan's eyepiece. So before this we learnt the Ramdan's eyepiece. So the second Huygens eyepiece also uses the two plano-convex lenses, but here the two plano-convex lenses or the curved surface of the two plano-convex lenses are not facing each other. So here you have the eyepiece. So the first lens in an eyepiece is called field lens, and the second lens which you have is called the eye lens. And now there is a principal axis that is passing from the center of both the lenses. So this is the principal axis that is passing through the center of the two lenses. So now these two lenses has a focal length in ratio 3:1. So if the first lens is 3f, the second lens focal length will be 1f. So this is the lenses and the focal length of the lenses. Now before eyepiece there will be a objective lens. So from objective lens we are getting a rays. So these are the rays that are coming from the objective lens. So if you observe, these rays are the converging rays. Now what will happen is these three rays will meet at a point. And makes an image. So this is inverted image. So this is I prime and I prime 1. So what is happening? The converging rays from the objective lens are converged by the field lengths and image is formed, but the image of objective lens is not formed. So now if you take the lines, or if you extend the three rays, then these three rays meet at a point and there forms the image of the objective lens. So this is the image of the objective lens. So this image of the objective lens acts as an object for the field lens, and field lens after refracting the rays forms image at the position I prime. So I prime is the image of the field lens and I is the object for the field lens, whereas this I is the image of the objective lens. Now the rays which are converged here will again go and fall onto the eye lens. So this ray goes here, this ray here, this ray here. So now these three rays will again get refracted. So now they goes out as a parallel rays. So now the rays which are coming from the image of the field lens will get refracted by the eye lens, and those rays will be parallel to each other. So the direction of the rays is in this direction. Hope this diagram is clear to you all. So this is eye lens and this is field lens, and the overall system is the eyepiece. So in eyepiece you have field lens and eye lens, and there will be two refraction that occurs within the eyepiece. One refraction is due to field lens and another refraction is due to eye lens. So the image of the eye lens will be formed at infinity, whereas the object for the eye lens is I prime. But this image to be formed at infinity, this object should be at a focal point. So when an object is at focal point, image will be formed at infinity. If object is at infinity, the image will be formed at the focal point. So this we know. So if this is the image object, so if this is the object for eye lens and the image is formed at infinity, then the distance will be the focal length. So this point should be the focal point. So then only the image will be formed at infinity. So this is the basic construction for the Huygens eyepiece. So now we know that the focal length of the two lenses is in the ratio 3:1, and the distance between them, so the distance between the two lenses is equal to the difference of their focal lengths. So if you take the difference of the focal lengths, then what you will get is the distance between the two lengths. So that will be 2f. So we'll see how we will get the 2f. So for time being, the distance between the two lenses is 2f. So the ratio of focal lengths is 3:1, and the distance between the two lenses is the difference between the focal lengths. And the focal lengths and the position of two lenses are such that each lens produces an equal deviation of the ray, and the system is achromatic. Now, so the position of these two lenses is in such a way that the deviation produced will be equal. So hence we can eliminate the chromatic aberration. This eyepiece which we are learning here is eliminate, or this can completely eliminate the chromatic aberration as well as the spherical aberration, and this also satisfies the condition for the chromatic and spherical aberration. So now let us see what are the conditions for the spherical aberration and the chromatic aberration. So these things we already learned in our previous class. So the first condition to eliminate the chromatic and the spherical aberration is the lens combination acts as an achromatic system. So if f1 plus f2 by 2 is equals to d, so that is distance between the two lenses is, so distance between two lenses is f1 minus f2. So this we have already seen, the ratio of focal length is 3:1 and the distance between the two lenses is f1 minus f2. So from that we wrote it as 2f. So second one is the lenses produce equal deviation. So this system produces the equal deviation of the incident ray when the distance between the two lenses is equal. So that is f1 minus f2. So this lenses produce equal deviation if the incident ray when the distance between the two lenses is equal. So if the distance between two lenses is equal, then the deviation produced by this system will be same or it will be equal. So what we learned is the lens combination acts as a achromatic system. So we learned what is achromatic system in our previous class. So if the system is achromatic, then D is equals to f1 f2 by 2. Then distance between two lenses f1 minus f2. And next is this lens produce equal deviation of the incident ray when the distance between the two lenses is equal. So this field lens and eye lens which we have used here are the plano-convex lens, and the two lenses curved face is not facing to each other. The curved face of the field lens is facing the incident ray or the rays which are coming from the objective lens which is situated behind the field lens. So there will be objective lens and there will be eyepiece. So this field lens is receiving the incident rays from the objective lens, and these rays are received by the curved surface. And now the image of this ray is formed here. So this we have denoted as I. So this is the virtual image, and this image acts as an object for the field lens. So we learned the theory. So this is object for field lens, and for this object this is the image. And now this image acts as object for eye lens, and the image from the eye lens will be formed at infinity. So this combination has the minimum chromatic and spherical aberration. So this will eliminate the chromatic and the spherical aberration, so that the conditions for the to eliminate the spherical aberration and the chromatic aberration we have learned in our previous lecture, and now we have to check whether the system satisfies that condition or not, or whether the system minimizes the chromatic aberration and the spherical aberration or not. So condition for chromatic aberration is what? D should be equals to F1 F2 by 2, and the condition for spherical aberration is D should be equals to F1 minus F2. So these things we'll learn in our next class. So for now, so this is the Huygens eyepiece and the diagram.